Welcome to Monk's Temple. If you've ever felt a quiet pull towards stillness, if you've ever wondered what it might be like to sit with your own thoughts without reaching for your phone, without filling the space with another voice, another song, another distraction, then this is not a coincidence. This is an invitation. An invitation to walk a path that strong minds have walked for centuries. Not a path away from the world, but a path deeper into your own being. Buddhism teaches that the most profound journey you will ever take is the journey inward, and that journey often begins with a single, quiet choice, the choice to walk alone. Today, we won't be following a linear path. We won't move from point A to point B. Instead, we'll move like a river, circling back, deepening, exploring different bends and pools of understanding. We'll talk about solitude, but not as loneliness. We'll talk about strength, but not as force. We'll talk about a peace that isn't found in silence, but is revealed by it. Before we go further, if this quiet exploration resonates with you, consider subscribing to Monk's Temple. It's a simple way to keep this space of reflection close, to remind yourself to return to your own center whenever the world grows loud. Your presence here is valued. Let me begin with a story from my own life, many years ago. I was in my late 20s, living in a bustling city. My days were a tapestry of meetings, friends, constant notifications, and a low, humming anxiety I called being busy. One evening, after a party filled with laughter and conversation that already felt like an echo, I returned to my small apartment. The silence there didn't feel peaceful. It felt like a void. It felt like judgment. I remember standing in the middle of the room, and for the first time, I heard the question my mind had been whispering beneath all the noise. Who are you when no one is watching? I didn't have an answer. And that terrified me. So I did what I'd always done. I turned on the television. I scrolled through my phone. I made a mental list of people to call tomorrow. I filled the void. But the question remained, a silent guest in the room. Buddhism teaches that much of our suffering is not caused by life itself, but by our constant, frantic effort to escape from our own minds. We mistake the discomfort of silence for danger. We believe that to be alone is to be forgotten, to be unlovable, to be lost. But what if the opposite is true? What if that very discomfort is the doorway, and the silence is not an empty room, but a mirror? Imagine your mind as a pond. A beautiful, deep pond. But for years, perhaps for your whole life, you have been throwing pebbles into it. Every worry, a pebble. Every need for approval, a pebble. Every comparison, every fear of missing out, every unresolved argument, every anxious thought about tomorrow, pebble, pebble, pebble. The surface is never still. It is rippled, churned, murky. You cannot see your own reflection. You cannot see the bottom. You only see the agitation. Now, imagine you stop. You simply sit by the pond. You don't throw another pebble. You don't even try to smooth the water with your hands. You just sit. And you wait. At first, nothing happens. The water is still troubled from all the pebbles you've already thrown. This is the first stage of solitude. The ripples of your old habits, your old thoughts, continue to dance. The mind says, see? This is boring. This is pointless. This is uncomfortable. Let's do something. This is the craving for distraction. This is the addiction to the ripple. But if you stay, If you breathe and continue to sit without adding a new pebble, something slow and magical begins to happen. The ripples start to fade. One by one, they travel to the edge and disappear. The water begins to settle. It becomes clear, still, glassy. And for the first time, you see your reflection clearly. Not the reflection you project to the world, the smile, the confident posture, the agreeable face, but the reflection of what is actually there. You see the tired eyes. You see the gentle sadness you've been carrying. You see the quiet hope underneath. And if you look deeper, past the surface reflection, you begin to see the bottom of the pond. You see the smooth stones, the resting fish, the natural, undisturbed state. This stillness is what Buddhism calls clarity. It is not something you create. It is something you allow by ceasing to disturb the water. Solitude is the act of stopping the throwing of pebbles. It is giving the mind the space to settle so that truth can appear. And the truth is often simple. It is not a dramatic revelation. It is the quiet understanding, this is what I have been carrying. This is the worry I can release. This is the desire that is not even mine. The first time I truly experienced this, I was on a solitary retreat in the mountains. For 3 days, there was no talking, no reading, no writing. Just sitting, walking, eating in silence. The first day was agony. My mind was a riot of pebbles. Memories I hadn't thought of in years, conversations I wished I'd had, plans for the future, fears about the past. I felt restless, itchy, almost angry at the silence. I thought, this is a waste of time. But on the second afternoon, as I was simply watching a line of ants move across the forest floor, something shifted. I wasn't thinking about the ants. I wasn't analyzing them. I was just seeing them. And in that simple act of seeing, the riot in my mind paused. For a moment, the pond was still. And in that stillness, I felt a wave of grief, clean, pure grief, for all the moments I had missed because I was too busy thinking about other moments. It wasn't a sad grief. It was a releasing grief. It was a pebble dissolving. And when it passed, what remained was a deep, quiet peace. Not happiness, but peace. The peace of the water when the ripples are gone. This is why strong minds learn to sit by the pond. They are not afraid of what they will see in the reflection. They understand that the murkiness is not their true nature. Their true nature is the clear water underneath. The practice of solitude is the practice of letting the water clear. We often admire a great oak tree. We see its mighty branches, its thick trunk, its resilience in the storm. We think its strength is in what we can see. But Buddhism directs our attention downward, to what is unseen. The true strength of the oak is in its roots. Deep, widespread, anchored in the dark soil, drawing nourishment silently, independently. Many of us, however, try to grow our branches before we have grown our roots. We seek validation, love, and a sense of self from the world around us, from the people in our lives, from our achievements, from our social standing. We spread our branches wide, hoping they will catch the sun of approval from others. And for a while, it works. We feel connected, supported, seen. But then, inevitably, a storm comes. A criticism. A rejection. A change. A silence. And because our roots are shallow, tangled in the soil of other people's opinions, we tremble. We might even fall. Buddhism teaches that attachment is the root of suffering. And one of the most subtle attachments is emotional dependence, the unconscious belief that our stability must come from outside ourselves. When your sense of peace depends on how your partner speaks to you today, when your joy is tied to the number of likes on a post, when your self-worth crumbles under a single word of disapproval, you are living like a tree with shallow roots. Your branches are reaching for a sun that is not your own. Walking alone emotionally is the process of growing your roots deep into your own soil. It is learning to draw nourishment from within. It does not mean you stop needing others, or loving others. An oak tree is part of a forest. It shelters birds, it shares nutrients with other trees through a vast, connected root system called the mycelial network. But it does not beg the tree next to it for its water. It draws its own. I learned this from an old gardener I met years ago. He was tending a grove of young fruit trees. Some were staked tightly to poles, unable to sway. Others he had left unstaked. I asked him why. He said, "The wind is the tree's best teacher. A tree that is always supported never learns to grow strong roots. It relies on the stake. When you take the stake away, the first strong wind will knock it over. But a tree that has felt the wind from the beginning, it learns to dance with it. It sends its roots down deep to hold on. The wind tells it where it needs to be strong." He patted the trunk of an unstaked tree. "This one," he said, "will outlive us all." Our emotional stakes are our dependencies. The constant reassurance from a friend, the need for a partner to complete us, the fear of being alone that keeps us in draining situations. Buddhism teaches self-reliance of the heart. It means learning to be your own stake, and then, eventually, removing the stake altogether. It means learning to find calm within your own breath, comfort within your own presence, and steadiness even when the winds of change or disapproval blow. When you begin to grow these roots, a miraculous thing happens. Your relationships change. They are no longer lifelines you are clinging to in a storm. They become like other trees in your forest. You can connect, you can share shade, you can intertwine branches, but you are not draining each other. You are both drawing from your own deep sources. You can love without the desperate fear of loss, because your sense of being rooted, of being whole, does not depend on the other tree remaining exactly where it is. This is the love Buddhism speaks of, a love rooted in freedom, not in fear. Consider for a moment that you are a weaver. Your mind is the loom. Your thoughts, emotions, reactions, and perceptions are the threads, some bright, some dark, some coarse, some fine. From the moment you wake up, you are weaving. Every interaction, every conversation, every piece of news you consume, every inner commentary, shuttle goes left, shuttle goes right, thread over, thread under. You are weaving the tapestry of your day, of your mood, of your very sense of self. Most of us, however, are weaving in a frenzy. The loom is in a noisy marketplace. People are shouting colors at us. Use this thread of worry. Weave in this thread of comparison. Hurry, you're behind. We are so busy trying to keep up, trying to make the pattern match what we see others weaving, that we never look up. We never check the design. We just keep throwing the shuttle, tangling threads, creating a tight, knotted, anxious fabric. Then, we step back and look at the tapestry we've created and we feel dissatisfied. It's chaotic. It's stressful. It doesn't look like what we wanted. But we don't know how to stop. We think the answer is to find better threads, a faster shuttle, a more prestigious pattern to copy. Buddhism invites you to stop weaving. Just for a moment. Put the shuttle down. Step away from the noisy loom. This is solitude. This is the space between the threads. In that space, you are no longer the frantic weaver. You become the observer of the loom. You see the half-finished pattern. You see the tangled threads. You see that the thread of anger you've been using is connected to a spool of old hurt. You see that the thread of anxious planning is creating a stiff, uncomfortable section. You are not judging the tapestry. You are simply seeing it clearly for the first time. This awareness is the greatest power of the mind, not control. When you observe without immediately reacting, when you see the angry thought appear but you don't immediately weave it into an angry word or action, something changes. The thought, like a thread offered but not taken, simply falls away. It loses its power. I once watched a master tapestry restorer at work. She was repairing a centuries-old piece that had been damaged by time. She didn't rush. She sat for hours, just looking at the damaged section, understanding its structure, feeling the texture of the original threads. She said, "If I just start pulling and replacing, I'll cause more damage. I have to understand how it was woven before I can know how to mend it." Sometimes, the mending is not about adding new thread, but about gently loosening a knot that has been pulled too tight for too long. Our minds are like that ancient tapestry. We have knots, patterns of reaction, belief, and emotion, that have been pulled tight over years. Solitude is the space where we, like the restorer, can sit and observe the knot without pulling on it further. We see that the knot of, "I am not good enough," is made of many threads, a childhood comment, a failed endeavor, a comparison we made last week. By observing it, without adding new tension, the knot naturally begins to loosen. Awareness is the gentle hand that loosens. When you return to the loom after such observation, you weave differently. You are no longer a slave to every thread that appears. You choose. You might see the thread of irritation, but you choose not to use it, opting instead for the thread of patience. You are weaving consciously. The tapestry of your life becomes intentional, aligned, and far more beautiful because it is no longer a reaction to the noise of the marketplace, but an expression of the quiet understanding you found in the space between. Think of your innermost being as a mountain. A vast, ancient, silent mountain. It has been there for eons. It is grounded in the earth. It is unmoving in its essence. Now, think of your thoughts and emotions as the weather that passes over the mountain. Some days, the sun shines brightly on the slopes, this is joy, contentment. Some days, dark clouds gather and rain pours down, this is sadness, grief. Storms may rage, with thunder of anger and lightning of anxiety. Blizzards of confusion may hide the peak. Winds of worry may howl. When you are identified with the weather, you believe you are the storm. I am angry. I am sad. I am anxious. You are tossed and turned. You believe the dark clouds will never leave. Your whole world becomes the storm. But Buddhism points to the mountain. The mountain does not become the storm. It experiences the storm. The rain falls on it, the wind buffets it, the lightning flashes above it. But the mountain remains. It does not chase the clouds away. It does not panic in the wind. It stands. It witnesses. It allows the weather to be what it is, knowing it is temporary. Most of our suffering comes from believing we are the weather, and forgetting we are the mountain. We try to control the weather. We resist the rain and therefore feel wet and miserable. We cling to the sunshine and despair when it sets. We exhaust ourselves trying to create a perpetual, perfect climate around our mountain. Walking alone teaches you to feel your mountainess. In solitude, when a storm of emotion arises, a squall of loneliness, a gale of fear, there is no one to perform the storm for. There is no one to complain to blame, to seek rescue from. There is just you, the mountain, and the passing weather. You are forced to sit within the experience. And slowly, you notice, the storm, however fierce, does not destroy the mountain. The mountain is still there underneath. The emotion, however intense, does not destroy you. You are the awareness that feels the emotion, not the emotion itself. A student once told me a story about her grandfather, a fisherman who lived by a great lake. He would take her out in his boat in all weather. One day, a sudden, fierce storm blew in. The girl was terrified, gripping the sides of the boat, sure they would capsize. Her grandfather, however, was calm. He adjusted the sails, secured the lines, and sat quietly at the helm as the waves tossed them. He didn't fight the storm. He worked with it. Later, when they were safe on shore, she asked him how he stayed so calm. He said, "I am not in the storm, my dear. The storm is on the lake. I am in the boat. My job is to tend to the boat, not to argue with the wind. Your awareness is the boat. Your mind and body are the lake upon which the weather of thought and emotion plays out. Solitude is the practice of learning to tend to the boat, to your breath, to your grounded presence. Instead of trying to stop the rain or command the waves, you realize you can feel afraid without drowning in fear. You can feel sadness without becoming the ocean of sorrow. The storm passes. It always does. And you, the quiet captain in the boat of awareness, remain. This is equanimity. This is the unshakable peace Buddhism teaches. It is not the absence of weather. It is the deep, unshakable knowing of the mountain beneath it all. Life can often feel like walking through a thick fog. You can only see a step or two ahead. The path is unclear. Sounds are muffled. You feel disoriented, unsure of your direction. In this fog, what do most people do? They look for other lights. They call out for others to guide them. They cling to the nearest person, hoping they have a clearer map. This is our dependency, our fear of being lost alone. But what happens when you cling to another person in the fog? You now have two people, both unsure, both anxious, stumbling together. You might feel temporarily less alone, but you are no clearer on the path. In fact, you may be pulled off course by their own uncertainty. Buddhism suggests a different approach. Instead of straining to see through the fog or clinging to others, you learn to light your own lantern. This lantern is your inner awareness, your clarity, your intuition. It doesn't dispel the fog of life's inherent uncertainty, the fog remains. But it illuminates the ground immediately around your own feet. It shows you the next step. And the next. You may not see the destination, but you can see how to walk safely, calmly, in this very moment. Walking alone is the process of learning to trust your own lantern. At first, its light seems weak. The fog of old doubts, what if I'm wrong? What if I get lost? What will others think? Seems so much thicker. We are conditioned to outsource our light. To believe the teacher, the guru, the partner, the friend, the social media influencer has a brighter lantern. I remember a long hike I took in the Scottish Highlands. The mist rolled in so thick I could barely see my own hands. My companion and I became separated. I had a compass and a map, but in that whiteout, they felt like abstract concepts. Panic started to rise. I wanted to shout, to run, to find someone, anyone. But I knew running in the fog on a moor was dangerous. So I forced myself to stop. I sat on a rock. I breathed. I took out my small flashlight, my literal lantern. It didn't cut through the mist far, but it created a small, warm sphere of light around me. In that sphere, I could see the heather at my feet, the rock I sat on. I was okay right here. The panic subsided. I wasn't lost in a vast, terrifying void, I was simply in a small, illuminated circle of present moment. I used the compass to take one careful step into the edge of the dark, then let the light show me the ground for that step. Then another. Step by illuminated step, I eventually found the path, and later, my friend. Your inner lantern is built on self-trust. It is fueled by the quiet moments you spend alone, listening not to the voices of the world, but to the quiet pulse of your own being. What does your body feel? What does your heart, beneath the layers of fear, know to be true? This is not about grand insights. It's about the simple knowing, this step feels aligned. This choice feels peaceful. This path, though unclear ahead, feels right under my feet right now. When you learn to walk by your own light, you become a different kind of companion for others. You don't need them to hold your lantern, so you don't drain their energy. You can walk beside them, each with your own light, sharing the journey without the burden of carrying each other. Sometimes, your light may help them see their next step. Sometimes, theirs may help you. But the responsibility for illumination remains your own. This is compassionate independence. The fog of life never fully lifts. But a strong mind walks through it with a steady, gentle light, unafraid of the obscured view, trusting the next step will always be revealed when it is time to take it. There is a powerful metaphor in Buddhist teaching, the concept of the river. Your life, your experience, is a river. It is constantly flowing, changing. Thoughts, feelings, sensations, events, all are like leaves, twigs, bubbles, flowing past on the current. They come, they stay for a moment, they go. Most of us, however, are not sitting on the bank watching the river. We have jumped into the river. We are clinging to a particular log, a pleasant memory, a dream for the future, and trying to hold it still. Or we are fighting against the current, trying to swim upstream toward a past that is gone, exhausting ourselves. Or we are grasping at every passing leaf of pleasure and avoiding every stick of pain, splashing and struggling in the middle of the flow. We are drenched, tired, and at the mercy of the current. We think the river is happening to us. Walking alone teaches you how to step out of the river and sit on the bank. The bank is the position of the observer. It is awareness itself. From the bank, you can see the river clearly. You see the log you were clinging to float past. You see the painful memory appear as a dark bundle of sticks, swirl in an eddy, and then continue downstream. You see the joyful thought like a sunlit bubble, appear, sparkle, and pop. You are not dry or detached from life. You are intimately connected to it. You can feel the spray on your face, hear the sound of the water, but you are not drowning in it. You have a perspective. From the bank, you realize something profound. You are not the things floating in the river. You are not the clinging, the fighting, the grasping. You are the spacious awareness that contains the river. The river flows within you. This is a central teaching of Buddhism. Consciousness is the space in which all experience appears and disappears. I lived for a time near a great river. In the spring, it would swell with meltwater, becoming a roaring, chaotic torrent. People would come to watch its power. In the summer, it would become calm and slow, barely a trickle in some places. I learned to sit by it in all its moods. One day, after a personal disappointment felt like a spring flood in my mind, I went to the riverbank. I watched the violent, muddy water rush by. I felt my own inner turmoil reflected in it. But as I sat, I began to notice the bank beneath me. Solid, earthy, unmoving. The bank was not troubled by the flood. It held the river. It allowed the river to be as it was. I was not the flood. I was the bank. My awareness was the bank. The feeling of disappointment was the flood. It could rage, but it could not wash away the ground of my being. This is the peace that comes from solitude. It is the peace of the riverbank. You stop identifying with every thought-floating leaf, every emotional current. You realize you can let life flow without needing to control its direction or speed. You can appreciate the sunny bubbles without desperately trying to catch them. You can observe the dark sticks without believing they define the river. When you return to your life, to your relationships and work, you carry this sense of the bank with you. You engage with the river, you may even step into it to swim or to build something, but you know you can always return to the bank to rest, to gain perspective, to remember who you truly are. This is freedom. Not freedom from the river of life, but freedom within it. Imagine your heart is a library. Not a small, tidy one, but a vast, ancient, sometimes dusty library with endless shelves and winding corridors. Every experience you've ever had, every emotion you've ever felt, every hurt, every joy, is recorded here as a book, a scroll, a fragment of parchment. Most of the time, we live in the lobby of this library. It's noisy there. There's a constant stream of new arrivals, today's frustrations, this week's anxieties, fresh hopes and fears. We are so busy checking in these new, loud, demanding volumes that we never venture into the deep stacks. We don't realize that the answers we seek, the peace we crave, is not in the frantic lobby, but in the quiet, forgotten sections deeper within. Worse, we are afraid of those deep stacks. We've heard rumors of scary books down there, tomes of old grief, scrolls of ancient shame, records of failures we'd rather forget. So we keep ourselves busy in the lobby, with the manageable noise of the present, pretending the rest of the library doesn't exist. But the weight of all those unread, unacknowledged books presses in on us. We feel a background anxiety, a sense of being overwhelmed, of carrying something heavy we can't name. This is the suffering of avoidance. Buddhism, and the practice of solitude, is the courageous act of becoming the librarian of your own heart. It is walking past the noisy lobby, taking a lantern, and venturing into the deep stacks. It is not to destroy the scary books, but to read them, to understand them, to file them properly. When you are alone in silence, the books from the deep stacks finally have a chance to be heard. An old memory surfaces, a book titled "The Time I Was Humiliated." An unresolved emotion appears, a scroll called "Unspoken Anger at a Parent." A deep-seated fear whispers from a dusty corner. A fragment labeled, "I am not enough." This is why solitude can feel heavy at first. You are not just sitting in silence, you are finally giving audience to the entire library. But here is the secret the strong mind knows: when you read the book, it loses its power. The monster in the story is only frightening when the book is closed. When you open it, you see it for what it is: ink on paper. A story from the past. A feeling that was felt. By bringing the light of awareness to these old volumes, you are not reliving the pain, you are understanding it. You see that the child who felt humiliated was doing their best. You feel the justified anger, and in feeling it fully, it completes itself and dissolves. You see that the "not enough" story was written by a hand that was comparing itself to an impossible standard. I once worked with a man who had a recurring nightmare of being chased through a library by a shadowy figure. In therapy, he was encouraged to stop running in the dream, to turn and face the figure. In his next dream, he did. He turned, breathless, and the figure stopped. It held out a book. It was his own childhood journal, which he had forgotten. The nightmare never returned. He had faced the book. Your solitude is your time to turn and face the books. You don't do it all at once. You go shelf by shelf, with compassion. And as you read, as you understand, you integrate. The library becomes organized. The scary sections become just another part of the whole. The weight lifts. The lobby becomes quieter because the old, backlogged books are no longer clamoring for attention from the shadows. From this integrated place, you live differently. You are no longer reacting from old, unread scripts. When someone criticizes you, you don't automatically reach for the "I am not enough" book. You can respond from the present moment. Your heart, your library, becomes a place of wisdom rather than a storage room of fear. This is the wholeness that solitude cultivates. It is not about having a perfect library with only happy books. It is about having read all your books, and knowing where they are, so you are no longer haunted by them. We often treat our minds like a cramped, cluttered attic. We throw everything in there. To-do lists, regrets, plans, opinions we've borrowed, expectations, fragments of songs, bits of conversations. We never clean it out. We just keep stuffing more in. The space becomes so full there's no room to move, to think, to breathe. We feel mentally cramped, anxious, overwhelmed. We call this a busy mind and think it's normal. Buddhism sees the mind's natural state not as an attic, but as a vast, sky-like space. Clear, open, boundless. The thoughts and emotions are not the room itself, they are like clouds, birds, or weather patterns that appear within that spacious sky. They come and go. The sky holds them but is not changed by them. A storm cloud does not damage the sky. A rainbow does not improve it. The sky simply is. Our suffering comes from mistaking the clutter for the space. We believe we are the storm cloud of anxiety. We believe we are the cramped, cluttered attic. We have forgotten the sky. Walking alone is the practice of clearing the attic and remembering the sky. In silence, without new clutter being added every second from external stimuli, you start to see the clutter for what it is. You notice, oh, this worry about tomorrow is just a box I'm holding. This resentment from last week is just an old piece of furniture. Awareness is the act of gently setting these items down, one by one. Not throwing them away in anger, but simply seeing they are not part of the essential structure of the room. As you do this, space appears. Mental space. Room to breathe. In that space, you begin to sense the walls of the attic are an illusion. They dissolve, and you realize the mind was never small to begin with. It was always this vast, open sky. Thoughts continue to arise, clouds passing, but they have room to drift. They don't bump into each other and cause turbulence. They are seen, and they pass. There is a meditation practice called sky gazing. You literally sit and look at the sky. You don't focus on any one cloud. You rest your awareness in the expanse itself. After a while, a shift happens. You don't feel like a person looking at the sky. You feel like the sky, looking at clouds that are other. Your sense of self expands. This is a direct experience of what Buddhism points to, the boundless nature of awareness. When you bring this sky-like mind back into your daily life, you are unshakable. Not because you are rigid, but because you are spacious. An insult is a small, dark cloud. It passes through your sky and disappears. A triumph is a bright, beautiful cloud. It also passes. You enjoy its passing beauty, but you don't try to nail it to the sky. You remain as the open space that allows all experiences to come and go. This is the unbreakable peace. It is not a peace that conflicts cannot enter. It is a peace so vast that conflicts arise and dissolve within it without causing a fundamental disturbance. Every human being has, at their core, an ancient well. It is a source of pure, cool, clear water. This water represents peace, wisdom, love, and contentment. It is your birthright. It is inexhaustible. But over the years, the well gets covered over. Leaves of distraction fall on it. Stones of worry are thrown into it. The dirt of other people's opinions piles up around it. We forget it's even there. We feel thirsty, a thirst for meaning, for connection, for peace, so we run around looking for water elsewhere. We drink from other people's cups, hoping they have what we need. We collect drops of approval, sips of success, gulps of pleasure. But this water is always temporary. It quenches the thirst for a moment, then leaves us dry again, running to the next source. This is the cycle of craving that Buddhism identifies as the root of suffering. Walking alone is the process of returning to your own well. It is clearing away the leaves, pulling out the stones, digging through the dirt. It is hard work at first. It feels easier to just go ask someone else for a drink. But their water is not yours. It cannot sustain you. As you clear the well, you start to see the water glinting below. You lower your bucket, the bucket of your attention, and you draw up a taste. The first taste is astonishing. It is not flavored with excitement or drama. It is clean, simple, deeply refreshing. It is the taste of enough. It is the taste of being present. It is the water of your own being. The more you drink from this well, the less thirsty you are for the external, temporary waters. You stop chasing. You stop clinging. You realize you were never lacking, you were just ignoring your own source. Relationships become about sharing water from your own full cup, not about desperately trying to drink from someone else's. I knew a woman who, after a lifetime of seeking validation in her career and relationships, moved to a small cabin in the woods. For the first year, she said she felt a terrifying emptiness. She was face to face with the covered-over well. She had to learn, slowly, to sit with the emptiness, to clear the debris of a lifetime of doing. She started gardening, not for show, but for the simple rhythm of it. One day, while pulling weeds, she had a simple thought: I am happy. There was no reason. No one was watching. Nothing special had happened. It was just the water from the well, finally reaching the surface. She had remembered her source. Strong minds are well tenders. They make time, in solitude, to clear the debris, to draw the water, to drink deeply from their own source. From that fullness, they engage with the world. They are not drains on others, they are springs. This is the foundation of genuine compassion and love. You cannot give from an empty well. But when your well is full, your giving is effortless, and it never depletes you. We walk through life carrying an invisible book. We think it's the story of our life, and we believe it must be written in a certain way. The title should be impressive. The chapters should follow a logical, upward progression: struggle, triumph, love, success, legacy. We are constantly writing, editing, comparing our book to the books we imagine others are writing. This causes immense suffering. We fret over past chapters we deem failures. We anxiously outline future chapters, trying to control the plot. We get stuck rewriting the same paragraph of resentment or self-pity over and over. We are so busy being the author, we forget to be the character living the story. More importantly, we forget we are also the reader, and the paper, and the space between the words. Buddhism invites you to close the book. To put down the pen. Walking alone is closing the book. In the silence, without the scratch of the pen, you hear something else. The sound of the wind. The beat of your heart. The hum of existence. You are no longer defined by your narrative. You are not the successful one, the struggling one, the victim, or the hero. You are simply awareness, here, now. From this space, a miraculous thing happens. Life begins to write itself through you. Not as a predetermined plot, but as a spontaneous, authentic unfolding. You become a conduit for experience, not a controller of it. A thought arises: I should go for a walk, and you go, not because it fits the chapter on health, but because it feels right in the moment. A feeling of compassion arises for someone, and you act on it, not because it's in your to be a good person plotline, but because it flows naturally from your heart. This is living without a script. It is terrifying to the ego, which wants credit and control. But it is deeply peaceful to the soul. You are no longer responsible for making the story good enough. You are simply responsible for being present for each sentence as it is written. I think of a master calligrapher I studied with briefly. He would sit for a long time in silence before picking up his brush. He wasn't planning the characters. He was emptying himself. Then, in one fluid, uninterrupted motion, he would let the brush move. The characters that appeared were not perfect by rigid standards, but they were alive. They had a spirit. They were an expression of that exact moment. If he tried to control it, to go back and fix a line, it would ruin the entire piece. The beauty was in the surrender to the flow. Your life is that piece of calligraphy. Solitude is the sitting in silence before the brush moves. It is emptying yourself of the need to control the script so that life can write itself through you with authenticity and grace. The strong mind is not attached to how the final piece will look. It is devoted to the truth and presence of each single, flowing stroke. We think we need noise to feel alive. Music, conversation, entertainment, the buzz of activity. We fear silence as if it were the absence of life. But Buddhism suggests that silence is not the absence of sound. It is the presence of a deeper frequency. Imagine life as a grand symphony. The strings are your thoughts. The brass is your emotions. The percussion is your daily actions and reactions. The melody is your story. Most of us are listening only to the melody, caught up in its rises and falls, its dramas and resolutions. We are so close to the instruments of our own minds that the music is often discordant, overwhelming, too loud. Walking alone is the act of stepping back from the orchestra. It is moving to the back of the concert hall, where the individual instruments blend into a harmonious whole. Even further, it is stepping outside the hall entirely, into the silent night. From there, you can still hear the symphony, but it is distant. It is one sound among many, the rustle of leaves, the call of an owl. You realize the symphony is part of life, not the whole of it. In that inner silence, you begin to hear the space between the notes. This space is not empty. It is full of potential. It is where the music breathes. It is as essential as the notes themselves. In the same way, the space between your thoughts, the silent awareness, is not a void. It is the canvas upon which the painting of your experience appears. It is the source of clarity and peace. When you learn to value the silence as much as the sound, your relationship to the symphony changes. You no longer need it to be perpetually exciting or perfectly in tune. You can appreciate a sad movement without becoming the sadness. You can enjoy a joyful passage without clinging to it. You become the compassionate listener of your own life, not the frantic conductor. I have a friend who is a sound engineer. He once told me about room tone. Every room, he said, has a unique silence. Before recording dialogue, they must record 30 seconds of room tone, the sound of the room with nobody in it, no machines on, just the silence. This silence is then used in editing to fill gaps, to make the dialogue flow naturally. Without acknowledging and recording the room tone, the edited dialogue would feel jarring, unreal. Your awareness is your inner room tone. It is the silent background against which the dialogue of your life plays out. If you never acknowledge it, if you are always talking, always filling the space, your life feels jarring, unreal, fragmented. Solitude is the practice of recording your room tone. Of sitting in the silent room of your own being and feeling its unique quality. Then, when you return to the dialogue, to conversations, to work, to thought, it flows naturally from that grounded silence. There is no gap of anxiety to fill because you are comfortable with the fundamental silence that underlies everything. This is why strong minds seek solitude. They are not avoiding the symphony. They are tuning their ear to the silent frequency that makes the symphony meaningful. They know that in the deepest silence, you can hear the most profound truth. You are both the listener and the source of the music. We live in a world that constantly whispers, more. More achievement, more possessions, more experiences, more followers, more security. We are taught to see life as a barren field we must constantly plant and harvest, fearing that if we stop, we will starve. This creates a mindset of scarcity, of never having enough, of always being behind. Buddhism points to a different reality. It suggests that at the core of our being is not a barren field, but a complete and perfect garden. It is the garden of enough. In this garden, everything needed for peace and contentment is already growing. There is a tree of quiet joy. A flower of simple presence. A stream of calm awareness. The fruit on the trees is not for hoarding, it ripens and falls in its own time, providing nourishment naturally. But we are so busy running to other people's gardens, comparing our blooms to theirs, trying to plant exotic seeds we saw in a magazine, that we trample our own garden. We don't see the beauty that is already there. We starve while standing in the midst of plenty. Walking alone is returning to your own garden and sitting still. It is stopping the running, the comparing, the frantic planting. It is weeding out the desires that are not your own, the weeds of, I should want that, and, I need to be like them. As you sit, you begin to notice what is actually growing. The humble wildflower of a deep breath. The sturdy oak of resilience that has been there through all your storms. The soft moss of self-acceptance in a shaded corner. You realize you have been trying to grow orchids in a climate suited for daisies. You have been ignoring your daisies, thinking they were not impressive enough. But a daisy is perfect in its daisiness. It requires no effort. It simply is. In this garden, you discover the profound truth: happiness is not about adding more flowers. It is about appreciating the flowers that are already there. It is about needing less, because you see that you already have what is essential. The craving for more is like trying to pour water into a cup that is already full. It just spills over and creates a mess. A powerful story from my own journey. After years of pursuing a high-stress career path because I thought it was the right garden to have, I burned out. I took a month off and went to stay in a simple cottage. For the first week, I was miserable. My mind was a list of things I wasn't doing, skills I wasn't building. I felt like I was wasting my garden. Then, one overcast afternoon, I just sat on the porch and watched the rain. I didn't try to read, or meditate, or plan. I just watched. And a feeling arose, so simple it was almost silly: this is enough. The sound of rain, the gray light, the smell of wet earth. In that moment, there was no lack. I was, for the first time in memory, not trying to get somewhere else. I was in my garden, and it was enough. That feeling became a touchstone I could return to. Strong minds cultivate the garden of enough. They spend time there in solitude, not to escape the world, but to remember what true nourishment feels like. From that place of fullness, they can go out into other gardens, the marketplace, the social world, and appreciate their beauty without needing to own them or make their own garden match. They can share their fruits freely because they know their source is inexhaustible. This is the end of striving. This is contentment. Life is like a vast, deep ocean. On the surface, there are waves. Waves of emotion, waves of circumstance, waves of success and failure, waves of social interaction. They can be gentle swells or terrifying storms. Most people live on the surface, in boats. They are tossed by every wave. A good wave, praise, success, lifts them high and they feel great. A bad wave, criticism, loss, crashes over them and they feel like they're drowning. Their entire sense of stability is at the mercy of the surface weather. They try to build better boats, better jobs, nicer houses, stronger relationships, but a boat, no matter how well made, is still on the surface. It is still subject to the waves. Buddhism teaches that there is another place to be, not on the surface in a boat, but deep below, anchored to the ocean floor. The ocean floor is the still, silent depth of your own being. It is unchanging awareness. The waves rage on the surface, but 100 feet down, there is only a gentle, peaceful sway. The storm cannot reach there. Walking alone is the practice of dropping your anchor. It is learning to descend from the chaotic surface of thought and reaction into the deep, calm waters of pure presence. Your breath can be the anchor line. Each inhalation and exhalation draws you deeper, below the wave of anxiety, below the swell of planning, into the quiet dark where you are held by something vast and stable. From this anchored place, you can witness the surface storms without being destroyed by them. You feel the pull of the waves, but you are not uprooted. You know the storm will pass. The nature of the surface is to change. The nature of the depth is to remain. This is the source of true resilience. It is not a toughness that fights the waves, it is a softness that knows how to sink beneath them. A strong mind has practiced dropping anchor so many times in solitude that it can do it even in the midst of a crowded room or a stressful meeting. One conscious breath, and there is a connection to the depth. I learned to scuba dive later in life. The first time I descended below the wave action, it was a revelation. Above, the sea was choppy, the boat was rocking. Below, it was a silent, weightless world of slow movement and profound peace. A fish swam by, uninterested in the weather above. I realized I had spent my entire life on the rocking boat, thinking that was the whole ocean. I had no idea this depth existed. Solitude is your daily scuba dive. It is your intentional descent to remember where your true stability lies. When you live from this anchor, your surface life becomes lighter. You can enjoy the sunny days on the boat without fearing the next storm, because you know your anchor is set. You can navigate the storms with skill, not panic, because you are not fighting for survival on the surface. You are being guided by the steady pull of your connection to the depth. This is unshakable peace. It is not the absence of waves. It is the presence of the anchor. We come to the end of our reflections, though the journey itself never truly ends. Let me leave you with one last image. Imagine your life as a vast, unfinished mosaic. Each experience, joyful, painful, mundane, is a single tile. A blue tile of a childhood memory. A red tile of a passionate love. A dark tile of a loss. A gold tile of a moment of insight. When you are in the middle of life, you are often holding one tile, staring at it, consumed by its color. This red tile is everything, or this black tile has ruined the whole picture. You are so close you cannot see the pattern. Walking alone is stepping back from the mosaic. From a distance, you begin to see how each tile, even the dark and broken ones, fits into a larger, beautiful, incomprehensible design. The black tile of grief provides contrast that makes the gold tile of peace shine more brightly. The red tile of anger defines the shape that allows the blue tile of compassion to flow next to it. You stop judging individual tiles. You appreciate the contribution of each to the whole. Buddhism teaches that wisdom is seeing the whole picture. Not with your thinking mind, which can only analyze fragments, but with the heart of awareness, which can hold the entirety. Solitude gives you the space to step back. To stop adding tiles frantically for a moment, and to simply behold what is already there. In that beholding, a deep trust arises. You no longer need to control the placement of every future tile. You can pick up the next tile, the next moment, the next experience, and place it with care, but without anxiety, trusting it will find its place in the emerging pattern. You realize the mosaic was never meant to be a perfect, symmetrical picture. Its beauty is in its wholeness, its complexity, its unique story. You are both the artist and the mosaic itself. And the act of stepping back to see, the act of walking alone in mindful awareness, is what reveals the art that is your life. So, as we part ways in this shared space of reflection, I invite you to take one thing with you, the permission to step back. To sit by your pond. To tend your garden. To light your lantern. To drop your anchor. To sit on the riverbank. To be the mountain. Welcome the solitude. Not as a punishment, not as loneliness, but as the most intimate friendship you will ever cultivate, the friendship with your own timeless, aware, and peaceful nature. This is the path of the strong mind. It is walked alone, but it connects you to everything. It is quiet, but it speaks the loudest truth. It is simple, but it holds the answer to the most complex sufferings. You were never broken. You were never incomplete. You were just waiting to remember. And the remembering begins in a single, quiet moment of choosing your own company. Thank you for walking this path with Monk's Temple today. If this resonated with you, if you feel a pull toward exploring this quiet strength further, I welcome you to subscribe. It is a simple gesture, a way to honor that quiet pull within you. May you carry this sense of peace and clarity with you, and may you always remember the strength that resides in the gentle act of walking alone. Be well. Be at peace.